I'm a little worried I'm getting sick, so I'm probably gonna have frequent drink breaks. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing the last 10 books tag. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what was the last book that you did finish. So alright, this is a tag. I was tagged forever ago by Jess at The Book Freak. I'll put a link to her video in the cards up above, as well as in the description down below. Definitely go give her a follow. She is so funny. However, this tag was originally created by Mark Nash, and I'll put a link to his video in the description as well. So jumping right into the questions. First up, what is the last book you didn't finish? That would have to be As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and unfortunately for me, I just was not enjoying it. This took a serious turn into being a lot darker and heavier than I was really anticipating. Initially, I was appreciative of it. I thought it was very realistic in a story where we were following a teenager who's often outsmarting the cops, but it started to just get a little too dark to the point where it felt like we were no longer being true to the characters who had previously been established, and those were the characters I'd fallen in love with, not these new angsty ones. On top of that, in terms of shucks and plot twists, I've never really been able to truly 100% guess what Holly Jackson's gonna throw in, but I did in this one, and I did not like it. Then it took a turn that I will admit did catch me off guard, but not in a good way. I absolutely hated how it was being handled, and because of that, I ended up DNFing. I just looked up the ending. Honestly, I'm glad I did that. No regrets there. Next question. What's the last book you reread? So according to my Goodreads, it's Spider-Gwen Volume 0 Most Wanted by Jason Latour and illustrated by Robbie Rodriguez. Originally, I think only owned this one and maybe the first bind up. So I read those two, but I didn't have the rest. And recently I've started a read of the entire series now that I own every single issue. So obviously I didn't really remember a lot, so I had to start at the beginning, and I think I'm now at like Volume 4. I do enjoy the series. Gwen is a ton of fun, and I am excited to continue on. Next question. The last book you bought. Well, I actually just ordered my Book of the Month box today, so that worked out really well. Since I am a BFF, I got a bonus book for my birthday. So first, in regards to my regular Book of the Month pick, I went with White Horse by Erica T. Worth. It is a horror, and the blurb said, "This no-nonsense, heavy metal-obsessed indigenous woman is determined to confront family ghosts even if it kills her." That sounds like a good time to me. I am in. For my bonus book, I had a hard time deciding on one. There are definitely a lot of backlist books on Book of the Month that I'm interested in, but I just wasn't really sure what I was feeling, so I decided to go with Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is a memoir by a musician basically discussing the relationship she had with her mother and how she coped with her mother's death. I've heard nothing but positive things about it, and since it's nonfiction November, I decided, why not? I'll try it out. I don't know if I'll get it read this month, but I bought it. Next question. The last book you said you read but didn't. Probably a book that I was supposed to read for school. Maybe not even a book. Maybe like a short story that I was supposed to read for my science fiction literary class. I could see that happening because we had readings every single class, and sometimes I just didn't have time for it and put it off. That's a strong possibility. Next question. The last book you wrote in the margins of. A book that I actually finished today, Faking Under the Mistletoe by Ashley Shepherd. This is a romance Christmassy book. I had such a fun time with it. It is very adorable, very hilarious, and while I didn't do a ton of writing in the margins, I definitely annotated a lot. I've gotten more into writing in my books, particularly romances. I definitely enjoy writing little commentary pieces. Oftentimes that just ends up being all on repeat, but I do think this time around I did have more commentary or funny comments. Next question. The last book you had signed. Had signed? None. I've never gone to a book signing before. Bought sign would be What If You and Me and For You and No One Else by Ronnie Lauren. She is a local author to me. So when I picked these up at the big half-price books in Dallas, I was lucky enough to find some signed copies, and I'm so happy about it. I loved her first book, and I can't wait to continue this series. Next question. The last book you lost. I don't think I've ever lost a book. Nothing springs to mind, and if it was anything, I feel like I had to have been a child because I don't I don't remember it. I'm very, very, very aware of where my books are 9 times out of 10 because, I mean, I paid money for that. I'm gonna keep that baby. Next question. The last book you had to replace. That would be First Grave on the Right by Dorinda Jones. Technically speaking, I didn't replace this. I put it on my Amazon wish list, and either my brother or my boyfriend bought it for me. I'm not sure which, but one of them did. This is the first book in my favorite series, the Charlie Davidson series. When I was working at a internship, I was talking about it with one of my bosses and recommended it to her. She asked if I had a copy. I said yes, lent it to her. Then eventually COVID happened. I never saw her in person again and never got it back. So not the end of the world, but at least I have a copy now. Next question. The last book you had an argument over. I really don't know. I don't argue about books very often. I have discussions. I try not to argue with people about books because, I mean, it's a very subjective thing reading. The closest thing I can think of is last night, Allie and I had a discussion about the third act conflict and Well Met, because that's just like something that drove me insane in that book. I hate the third act conflict so much. It just, it drives me up a wall. But she was commenting that she didn't think it was nearly as bad as I made it out to be. I don't know. I still maintain it's pretty terrible, but we just kind of discussed our feelings about that. Final question. The last book you couldn't get a hold of. Ugh. Confessions by 𝗖cie_mich_. I was originally planning to read that for a prompt in the Halloween readathon. Unfortunately for me, apparently my library's catalog on Hoopla actually changes month to month, because not only could I not get a hold of Confessions, but there were a few other books that I'd previously seen were available as audiobooks on Hoopla in like September, but then when I went to check them out in October, they'd all disappeared. That was a big bummer, but luckily I had another book which could also complete that prompt for the readathon. Wasn't that big of a deal, but I was excited to read it, and now I haven't. Oh well. I didn't plan ahead on who to tag, so I just went to my sub box and picked the first 3 people. So I'm going to be tagging Noelle at Noelle7pages, Lana at LanaXLibris, and Paige at Pages with Paige. All of those ladies will be linked in the description down below. Definitely go give them all a follow. Thank you so much for coming to my channel today, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials and a few ways you can support me down in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!